So I've genuinely been binge-watching, note-taking, and occasionally losing sleep over dark fantasy shows for way too long now. And today I want to run through 8 of them that are actually built for adults, not just marketed that way, because those are 2 very different lists. Some of these you already know. A couple might genuinely surprise you. Okay, let's just get into it.
Morpheus, the Neuromancer, the Sandman.
First up, all the way at the bottom, we've got the Sandman. And full disclosure, this one had maybe the hardest job of anything on this list. You're adapting a comic that spent years just floating through myth and dream logic, without caring much about traditional plot, and somehow the show doesn't flinch away from that weirdness at all. No one tried to smooth it out for a mass audience. No one turned it into another CGI battle franchise, which genuinely, thank God. Some of the biggest moments are just 2 people talking in a room, or one impossible choice, and that hits so much harder than another sword fight ever could. Now, if you need non-stop action, I'm not gonna lie to you, this is not that show. It's slow, it's reflective, it's basically a fever dream in dialogue form. But if you let it breathe, if you actually sit with it, it gets under your skin in a way almost nothing else streaming right now manages to do. Next up, we've got Castlevania. And don't let the animation fool you into thinking this is some safe, kid-friendly watch, because it is not. This show takes a beloved video game and turns it into maybe the most viscerally violent thing I've recommended all year, and somehow never loses the emotional gut punch underneath all that carnage. Dracula loses his wife, and instead of just being sad about it, he declares full-blown war on humanity. And the whole time, the show refuses to let you forget the real monster here was made, not born. That's the trick that got me. You've got a disgraced monster hunter, a sharp mage, and Dracula's own kid trying to stop a genocide, and every single one of them actually gets a real arc, not just cool fight choreography, although don't worry, the fights absolutely deliver too. If animation has ever felt like a lesser genre to you, this is the show that fixes that opinion completely, no question. Number 6, and you knew this was coming, we've got to talk about The Witcher. Look, the books were never really about heroic monster hunting anyway. They were about a guy who keeps discovering humans are scarier than anything he gets paid to kill, and Geralt spending his whole life trying to stay neutral in a world that won't let anyone stay clean. That's such a mature, adult conflict dressed up in silver swords and monster guts. Now, the elephant in the room obviously is the recasting. Liam Hemsworth stepped in for Season 4, which dropped in 2025 after a 3-year wait, and I'm just gonna say it, the transition has been rocky. Season 5 is supposed to be the last one, and I'm cautiously, nervously hopeful they stick the landing after all that. If you need total book accuracy, this was never your show anyway. But if you want gritty, morally gray fantasy where nobody gets to claim the high ground, this still scratches that itch hard. Number 5 is Carnival Row, and I will die on this hill, it did not get enough attention when it came out. Yes, the production design is gorgeous, but what actually kept me watching was how confidently this uses fantasy to talk about real prejudice, class divides, and the immigration crisis without feeling like a lecture. Every faction, every grimy street corner feels like it has actual history behind it, rare for a show that only got 2 seasons total. If you need things moving fast right out the gate, I'll be honest, the first season asks for patience before it clicks. Think Victorian noir crossed with Sherlock Holmes, except the detectives investigating murders in a city where mythical refugees get treated as second-class citizens by the humans who think they're civilized. It's heavy-handed sometimes, but effectively so. If you slept on this one, consider this your sign. Coming in at number 4, we've got American Gods, a show that swings so hard for the fences it sometimes just misses. And honestly, I respect that more than a show that never takes a swing at all. It imagines old-world mythology losing its grip on humanity to shiny new gods of technology and media. And visually, I'm telling you, this thing is a fever dream, the kind of imagery that sticks with you for days. Shadow Moon gets pulled into this brewing war right out of prison, and he's basically the grounded anchor, while everything around him spirals into something weirder by the episode. Now, I won't pretend the showrunner drama behind the scenes didn't hurt it, because you can feel the tonal whiplash in later seasons, and the ending never fully resolves either, which will frustrate some of you. But if you value mood and ideas over art-tight plotting, this is a genuinely bold, provocative watch that demands your full attention. Now, real quick, if you are somehow enjoying this list and you are not subscribed yet, I genuinely do not understand what we're doing here, so go ahead and fix that. Hit the like button too. It actually helps way more than you think. Okay, moving on, because things are about to get a whole lot louder.
A vampire came into the bar.
You know how many people are having...
Number 3, we've got True Blood, and things get chaotic in the best way. By the time this show hit HBO, vampire stories were already everywhere, and it refused to color inside any lines whatsoever. Horror, Southern Gothic atmosphere, dark comedy, romance, political satire, straight-up fantasy, all blended together, and somehow it works beautifully. Alan Ball, same mind behind 6 Feet Under, brought his signature messy, self-destructive characters and let them loose in a world where every metaphor gets taken completely literally. We're talking synthetic blood letting vampires come out of hiding, a telepathic waitress falling for a vampire pushing 2 centuries old, and a small Louisiana town more unhinged than the creatures living in it. Fair warning, there's a whole subplot involving werepanthers, and if that makes you want to close the tab, I get it. But if you like your fantasy loud and unhinged, nothing here matches this energy. Number 2 might be the most underrated pick on this whole list, and I will fight anybody who disagrees. Grimm doesn't get talked about with the same respect as prestige dramas, which is honestly a crime, because it takes actual Brothers Grimm mythology and grounds it inside a police procedural in a way that should not work as well as it does. These fairy tale creatures are not whimsical here, they're dangerous, and the show fully commits to the idea that folklore monsters would just be out there committing actual crimes in modern cities. The Case of the Week format sounds like it should limit the darkness, but it's the opposite. It lets the show get away with genuinely twisted, self-contained episodes while slowly building toward a bigger mythology underneath. If you want comfort food dark fantasy you can binge for 6 seasons straight, this is basically unmatched.
The enemy is real. It's always been real.
And here we are, number 1. And if you saw this coming, good, because there was genuinely no other choice. Game of Thrones didn't just join the dark fantasy conversation. For almost a decade, it was the conversation, full stop. It ripped away the shining armor nonsense fantasy had leaned on for generations and replaced it with brutal political realism, backstabbing, and consequences that actually mattered. People died because they made mistakes, not because the plot needed a shocking twist, and that alone changed what audiences would accept from an entire genre. Now yes, the ending remains divisive. The final stretch doesn't match the show's peak. Plenty of us still have complicated feelings about how it wrapped up. But the legacy is undeniable, still expanding right now through House of the Dragon and Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. If somebody forced me to recommend exactly one adult fantasy show, this is still the first title out of my mouth. Drop your favorite in the comments. Streaming links are in the pinned comment as always. New here, subscribe, liked it, drop a like. I'll keep making these as long as y'all keep watching. See you on the next one.